Okay, so in this video, what I may be doing is a little bit more in detail. I said I was going to do this video a few weeks back. I did the video where I was basics of driving a stick shift vehicle, and I had a few questions on that video because I posted on a couple different media platforms, and I had a few questions on the video, so I'm going to try and answer those questions in this video. I'm driving a stick right now. Me and my niece are spending time together, and I'm taking her back to my parents' house. Her and my mom and papa. So I'm already up in fifth gear. We're already doing, 55 mile an hour. But here in a little bit, we're going to be slowing down, and I'm going to be driving through more of a scenic, I'm not sure if you could say scenic or city, more of a city route, and I'll be shifting more and doing a lot more. The question I wanted to answer in this video was one of the things that stuck out to me in the last video. I got a question. This person asked, do you have to downshift to slow down? No. I downshifted in the first video because I was just showing that was one way to slow down in a stick shift. But primarily, I use my brakes. Primarily, if I want to slow down, I would push the clutch in, put the car in neutral, and then use my brake. Or there's another way of doing that, where is you don't put the car in neutral, but let's say you're in gear. You would push the clutch pedal in and then push the brake in, or simultaneously push both of them in. That's multiple ways of slowing down right there. But I only downshifted in the last video, like I said, to show that was a way of slowing down. And I also wanted to show people how to downshift, because that was one thing that after I learned how to drive a stick shift through YouTube primarily myself. I had a few teachers, but primarily I watched a lot of YouTube videos and figured out how to drive a stick shift. Downshifting wasn't something I was really, I saw how to do it, but it wasn't something I really tried to do until several weeks after I started driving a manual transmission. So here in a little bit, we're going to slow down, and we're going to show everyone how to, when I slow down this time, instead of downshifting, I'm just going to hit my brake and my clutch, or I'm going to hit the clutch first, put it in neutral, and then hit my brake. It's going to take a few more minutes because I'm on a
country-ish.
Thank you, Lily.
Country-ish road.
Why'd you turn the phone again?
Because it's more comfortable to hold it like this. I'm sorry. It's like facing you. Like, this is just inconvenient for my hands, so.
Okay.
I think your viewers will be okay with it. And then once we get there, we can just face towards the stick shift. See? Yeah.
I don't know, viewers at home, you think I should have thought twice before letting my 12-year-old niece record this video?
Tell him no, because he's wrong. Did a pretty good job.
In all reality, there's no traffic behind me. I could just slow down now and take off from a certain point, but I'm not going to do that because I don't like to stop in the middle of the road or slow down in the middle of the road when there's no need to. What I can do though is I can turn into a parking lot. That way I can take off from that point, and that way we get a little bit more shifting, because I got a few more miles before we end up slowing down anyway. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn into here. See, I just put the car in neutral, turn signal on, turn it into this little area right here.
Some people might have a question of like, do you use the stick shift whenever you're turning?
Well, that's what I was going to get into next. Thank you for asking. First, taking off. Second, third. Now, yes, when I was just turning right there, and I would notice when I was turning, I put it into second gear, because this is something I was taught by somebody that was helping me learn how to drive a stick, is that when you take off from first gear, by the time you are most of the time when you're making a turn, you're not going very fast, but you're going fast enough to where you can shift into second gear while you're turning, and the car will be fine because that's the speed it's you normally in. First gear is usually between 0 to 10 miles an hour, no higher than about 15. Second gear is about 10 to 20. Third gear is 20 to 30. Fourth gear is 30 to 40. And then fifth gear is anything above 40 miles an hour. Now, there are certain times when I like to do, when I'm in fourth gear, and instead of, if I know the speed limit for a short period is going to be 45 miles an hour before I make some sort of turn or before I have to stop for any reason, I won't worry about shifting into fifth gear. I'll just keep it in fourth gear because it's only 5 miles. That's what I was saying about first gear is no higher than 15. Second gear, I've never gone higher than 25. Third gear, I've never gone higher. There's a cushion period or grace period, if you will, when you're shifting. Most of the time, I like to keep it 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and anything above 40 is fifth gear. Now, that's with this car. This is a 2.3 liter Mazda 6. Other vehicles with more horsepower, more cylinders, you know,
differs.
It's going to be different. Thank you, Lily. It's going to be different. I was going to have a friend of mine record this video, but I'm actually glad that I had my niece do it because she's actually asking questions, trying to get me more involved in how I'm doing this. Because a buddy of mine that I was going to have record, he does not know how to drive a stick shift, and he does not know what kind of questions need to be asked. Where my niece has been in the car with me and seen me drive this, and she's been like watching and observing and wondering how to do it herself.
My dad used to drive a stick shift, and I used to like help him, but he would teach me like some of the stuff, but I was never actually driving a stick shift. So it's always kind of cool just to learn about this and get the questions out that I always had wondered. So
yep. We'll get a few more miles before we actually have to slow down again. Now for that part, earlier I slowed down with the brake and pulled in that little parking lot area, and then and then kept along my merry way. Like I said, I wanted to show people the shifting part of it.
What about when you don't shift? Doesn't it make a noise when you don't shift? Like when you were meant to like shift and you don't shift or miss it? Doesn't that make a noise?
Yes, and that's not very good for the car.
I figured. I just wanted to know.
The manual transmission is not good to
miss.
You know, you want to shift when you're supposed to shift. I mean, you don't have. Sometimes I watch the speed, but I've been driving a stick shift for since 2016. I've been driving a stick shift. This year in about June, it'll be 7 years. So I've already gotten to the point where I can either listen to the engine, I can watch the speed, or I can watch the RPMs, or, you know, I've been driving it so long, I know when I'm supposed to shift.
Yeah.
But people, when you're just starting out, you know, something that I was told to do is one of those three. You know, watch your speed, watch your RPMs, or listen to the engine. The engine will make, if you listen to the engine, you will know when to shift. And when you do that, you know, I'll shift into neutral, and then I'll shift back into fifth. Clutch, neutral, clutch, fifth. But I was going to say something else. Can't remember what I was going to say. I mean, there's several different ways of knowing when to shift. It's just you gotta know the car, do some
research on it.
Right.
Find some things out about it.
I had a 1.9 liter engine and a 02 Honda Civic that I had, and for the most part, the speed and the gears and everything were virtually equal because it wasn't that much smaller. However, I was always in fifth gear before I hit 40 miles an hour because it was a smaller engine, 1.9 liter as opposed to 2.3, which may not seem like a lot, but it did make a difference.
Which is where, when he said it differs, that it definitely means that it does differ between what type of car you have.
I never went above 10 miles an hour in first gear in that. I never went above 20 miles an hour in second gear. I didn't use any kind of cushion or grace period, if you will, on shifting because it was a smaller engine. This one was a little bit bigger, and it's just different. That was a Honda. This is a Mazda. That was an 02. This is an 07. My first stick shift was a 1999 Honda Accord 4-cylinder 5-speed. I've had 3 manual transmission vehicles in my life. They've all been, the first one was in 2016, where a friend of mine that was helping me learn how to drive a stick, he was selling me his 99 Accord, and that's why, it's a long story there, but he was helping me out and in 2 different ways. One, he was selling me his car, and 2, he was helping me learn how to drive it. And yes, I said earlier that I primarily used YouTube, which is true. I primarily used YouTube, but as I said after that, I had 2 people in my life at the time that helped me learn how to drive a stick. One of them was the buddy that was selling his car to me. The other one was my dad.
So he used YouTube and he also used people.
I'm in neutral. I'm hitting my brake. Clutch is not. I'm not hitting the clutch. I already hit the clutch to put it in neutral. I'm hitting the brake, slowing down, coming to a complete stop. Clutch in, first gear. Taking off. When I take off, I push the gas pedal in as I'm releasing the clutch.
And then what did you turn it? What gear did you turn it to?
That's when I was turning, I shifted into second gear because I was at this point where I could shift into second gear and I was going fast enough, but I still had control of the vehicle as I was turning.
And then you went back into neutral, right? Like back here when you went into neutral. Was that neutral? I don't actually know.
This is neutral.
Okay. Okay.
It's not in gear at all. You can just sit there and do this.
Okay.
I'm in 5th gear now. And one more time, I'll downshift just so people can see. Because last time I only downshifted 1 time. Because the last video I made was only like 3 to 4 minutes long. It wasn't very long. Downshift because the speed limit's slowing down to 35 miles an hour. So I'm going to 4th gear.
What's that noise?
It's just something in the car.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm in neutral. I'm just gliding. Here in a minute, I am going to downshift to 3rd gear. 3rd. Now I'm doing 30 miles an hour in 3rd gear.
What'd you put it down to?
Now it's in neutral. Clutch plate in, or clutch pedal in, shifted into neutral. Now I'm just going to glide to a slow down to the stop sign up here. Hitting my brake. Last video I downshifted all the way to 2nd gear. I didn't want to do that this time because I just didn't want to do that this time. 1st gear.
What gear is that?
This is 1st. 2nd. 3rd. And I'm not going to go above 3rd because the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. There's no need to go above 3rd. Now I'm just gliding because this road that I'm on is not very long and the stop sign's right up here. We are coming up on a slight turn, so what I'm going to do is have my niece record the shifter because I'm going to show people how when I'm turning, I'm okay to shift into 2nd gear. 1st gear, clutch pedal out, gas pedal in. 2nd gear, I'm still turning. 3rd gear.
Because he sped up?
I wasn't in 2nd very long, but I was in 2nd during the turn.
Yeah.
First. 2nd.
There's another turn.
3rd. I won't, for the rest of this video, I will not be going above 3rd gear because we're almost to where we're going, and I'm in the city now where the speed limit doesn't go above 30 miles an hour depending on what spot you're going to, but the spot we're going to, we won't get above 30 the rest of this trip. Matter of fact, at this, not this intersection, but the next one, I'm going to ask my niece to stop the video because we are done. First gear, clutch in, second gear, third. There's videos on YouTube of people claiming that you can shift without pushing the clutch pedal in. Maybe you can, but I would not recommend that. There's a reason that you have a clutch pedal. And with that, thank you very much.
Peace
Hope
out.
everyone